On February 8, 2001, guests to the Disneyland Resort were finally given a second park to spend their time at and enjoy during their stay. While it wasn't as well received as Disney had initially hoped, hard work and big changes brought in the guests that the new locale had always needed. This is Dateline Disney, and today we're going to be walking down Buena Vista Street and paying a visit to California Adventure. In 1959, as Walt Disney was beginning to consider the idea of a second resort to supplement Disneyland, he decided that he would like to have much more land in his control, in order to account for the inevitable expansion of what would soon become the Walt Disney World Resort. This was in part due to the fact that after Disneyland had opened only 4 years prior, all surrounding land that was not already within Disney's control was bought up by local businesses in order to try and leech off of all of the profit that was being brought in by those headed to Disneyland. As a result, any expansion to Disneyland would require a great deal of careful planning. So much so that no such expansion would even be considered until nearly 20 years after the opening of Walt Disney World. The success found there by the multi-resort model led the Walt Disney Company to begin making plans for turning Disneyland into a similar multi-resort complex. These plans were first unveiled to the public in the form of Westcott, an expensive West Coast version of the Epcot park found in Florida. Westcott was so expensive, in fact, that after the lukewarm response to the newly opened Disneyland Paris, these plans were scrapped. Disney just didn't have the money. After the cancellation of Westcott, current Disney CEO Michael Eisner got together a board of Disney executives to take another crack at planning a second theme park for their Anaheim property. It was during these meetings that the new park began to truly take shape, as a cultivation of the history and culture of the state of California. This new park was to play off of Disneyland, aimed this time at adults rather than children. Construction was to begin in 1998, bringing along with it Downtown Disney and the Grand Californian Hotel. Renovations would also be made to the existing Disneyland Hotel and Disneyland Pacific Hotel. Disney's California Adventure was expected to bring in record numbers on all fronts, and many thought there would surely be days when DCA would reach capacity. However, this did not end up being the case. In theory, California Adventure complemented Disneyland perfectly, but the only thing that mattered more than this theory was the reaction of guests, who also just so happened to be paying customers. Visitors to the newly opened park no doubt had fun, but not nearly as much as they were told to expect. The Hollywood Pictures backlot area of the original California Adventure lacked focus, but focus wasn't the only thing that it was lacking. DCA also just didn't have very many attractions. Most of the attractions the park did have weren't even the sort you would find at a Disney park, but rather a state fair. Furthermore, the park's California theming wasn't very popular among surveyed guests either. And even though this piece of the Golden State was much cleaner and arguably much more magical when compared to the surrounding areas, it lacked the separation that Disney had from the outside world, taking away from any sense of immersion that the park may have had. California Adventure was aimed at adults, but even that backfired, becoming a platform for the rest of the criticism to follow. Disneyland had about 12 million visitors during the first year of California Adventure, but the new park only facilitated roughly 5 million. At first, guests that did visit didn't even tend to stay for the night, because there was no entertainment to keep them there until the eventual introduction of Disney's Electrical Parade that same year. And so began the constant improvement of California Adventure, with many changes and additions constantly coming to the park. A Bugs Land opened in 2002, adding several much-needed attractions for younger DCA guests. The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror opened in 2004, taking inspiration from the Disney's Hollywood Studios attraction of the same name. Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue opened in 2006, replacing Superstar Limo. At about this time, Disney realized that small changes like these were not enough to save the park, and talks began about combining Disneyland and California Adventure into one large park. However, the costs of such a renovation would be just about the same as a remodel, and the latter ultimately became Disney's action plan for saving California Adventure. The redesign project was officially announced on the 17th of October 2007, costing $1 billion. In comparison, the original cost of the park was only $600 million. and construction began in December, bringing even more new things to do. Toy Story Midway Mania opened in June the next year, and only 2 years later, a new nighttime show, World of Color, followed by a Little Mermaid dark ride in 2011. Sunshine Plaza was remodeled to become Buena Vista Street, and Paradise Pier changed from a California boardwalk to a representation of Victorian seaside amusement parks. Both of these new areas drew inspiration from the 1920s, and many of the current, unoriginal attractions located in DCA were either rethemed or entirely removed. Disney characters gained a larger presence in the park, with attractions like Mickey's Fun Wheel and Goofy's Sky School. The project also included the addition of a second themed land after a Pixar property, this time being Cars Land. Cars Land was made to look like Radiator Springs, including 3 new attractions, the most popular definitely being Radiator Springs Racers. In 2012, all construction was concluded, and the new Disney California Adventure, as opposed to Disney's California Adventure, was rededicated by Disney CEO Bob Iger. Since the 5-year remodel, attendance had finally increased to meet Disney's expectations, only 11 years after the park first opened to the public. Thanks for watching Dateline Disney. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to leave us a like and share it with your friends. If there's anything you would like to see in a future episode, go ahead and leave us a comment. You can also follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook for the latest news about our channel. To see more Dateline Disney, check out the rest of our channel, and don't forget to subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. See you next time!